I'm going to use PhotoscapeX to show you how to mask an area of your photo and then apply lighting adjustments to that area. So we are under the Editor tab, and I'm just going to select this photo and drag it into the work area. And now we're going to go under the Color tab, which has both color and lighting adjustments. Now, the first thing you notice about this photo is that for the most part, it's well exposed. But there's one area, the gentleman, which is underexposed. Now, if we try and brighten the photo by dragging the brightening bar here, he does become a little lighter, but so does everything else, and it looks a little washed out. So that's not going to work. The same thing happens with the Light and Shadows tab. If I bring that one over and adjust it, again, we get a slight improvement on the dark area, but the other areas don't maintain their rich colors that they had originally. So what we want to do is just select this area and lighten only the area of the gentleman. So what I'm going to do first before I mask is zoom in a little bit. I'm going to drag my navigation bar over here just to give me a little bit more room to play with the masking, so I don't have to put on the reading glasses or anything. So we're going to go to the mask here and click on the plus sign there. The default is to mask, adding a mask, so that's what we want. We can play around with brush size. We just hover over and see if we like that brush size or not. Well, that might be a good size to start and get sort of some of the general area painted. So we just left click and we drag. And I'm just going to do, kind of a broad strokes here of his body with this very large brush. Obviously a little too large to do the hands. Then we'll just scooch down here and make sure that we get the rest of his legs in. Or you may decide you want to leave those dark. That's fine. It may be you just want to lighten the face. So to get into the hands, we want to zoom even more perhaps, and then we want to change our brush size to something a little smaller. So here we can start drawing in the hands. I'm not going to be too careful here, just to make the video a little shorter for you. And we will touch up the face a little bit with the smaller brush. And you don't always have to go right to the edge. Just lightening within and having a dark border, it doesn't really look weird. It's very hard to notice that. However, if you go over the edge, that is noticeable because you'll see a little white spot. So anytime you do go over and you want to subtract, just hit the subtract button and that will remove any area of red. Make sure you go back to the plus if you want to add anything more to your mask. So we're going to show the mask now. That's looking good. I'm going to zoom back out to the original size. You can see I haven't got right to the edges, but you can play around with that. And so I'm going to take that off. Now that means whatever change you want to make is only going to apply to that area that was masked. So what we want to do is brighten. So let's pull that brighten bar right over and see what happens. Well, this is great because if I click on the before, there's the before picture, there's the after. It hasn't affected any part of the photo except the gentleman. If you feel you want to brighten even more and you're already at 100%, you can copy the mask. You can apply this and go back in and start again. And you just have to click on mask, click on the three dots, and now you say paste mask. You can show the mask and it's been pasted back in. So now you can play again around with the brightening bar, and at some point it's going to look too bright. So that's up to you to decide how bright you want that part of your image. So we're going to go on to another image just to give a second example of this. And this is such a very common situation. People take pictures inside restaurants or hotels and they're near a window and the camera adjusts for the light outside rather than the person that's standing in front of the window. So what we want to do, go into color again, and again we want to just mask my sister there because all the other adjustments are not going to work. So we will now just click and drag and mask her face and as much of her body as we wish. We'll just do this for an example. But this, I show this because it's such a common situation. We've all been there with, not always having the ideal spot to take a group photo, having a bit of backlighting, even if there's drapes or shears, the light gets in and the camera recognizes that great big area. If there's only one person in particular, it will recognize that area and adjust the exposure according to the background and not the person. So now we have my sister mask. There's the mask, and again we're just going to brighten her, and you can see maybe a little dark on the edges. You could go in and fix her hair, but that's a pretty good improvement on the photo, given that it was more about her than the background. Okay, so that's the lesson for today. Thank you for listening.